was like, that doesn't
That's
sound
a
fun.
10-hour day?
I think so. And then they'll like get on my case because like I'm 5 minutes late on a good day.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Muraho and BT, which is, Bite, which is hello, formally and informally, in Kinyarwanda. Somewhere, I almost said Alaska, in Africa. That's the wrong page. Where is it? There we go. I lost the questions. I found the questions.
You did it.
Huzzah. Okay, guys, that was it. We'll talk to you later. Podcast up now.
Do we have any announcements? I don't think we have any big announcements.
Not that I can think of. If we want an announcement, I think I ate all my hummus.
Congrats, you didn't let it go bad.
Yeah, my free hummus. Someone gave it to me at church, and they're like, here you go. And I'm like, okay. And I think it took me like 3 weeks to eat.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't think you should accept roadside hummus.
No, it wasn't roadside hummus. It does remind me of a story where I accidentally insulted someone's whole family because of hummus. And it was because we were walking through there, and like this is when I was a youth pastor, and they were doing like this thing, and we were going through, and I forget, there was all this food there, and this person was like, oh yeah, I was like, oh, is this hummus? And it was like, oh man, it looks weird. And they're like, it's like, man, and I think I made like a joke, and the person was like, my mom made this, and I'm like, oh,
Nice.
and so then I was inclined to try it.
That's how it goes. Yeah, that reminds me of a story. I was getting a ride home with someone, like after school and that, and I saw this car pull up, and I was like, wow, who decided to get the off-brand Hummer? And she's like, that's my dad. Let's go. I was like, nice.
So I'm no longer invited over.
Yeah, I guess the only true announcement we have really is that we'll stop doubling up episodes after this one, correct?
Yes.
So then I'll be able to fill in time with more questions, and my questions have been getting more unhinged, so it's fine.
Yeah, I can see the third question for episode 5.
Yeah, so this is a continuation of watching and discussing just various things in Better Off Ted, because I just wanted an excuse to rewatch this, and I was like, hey, Itisdpayne, it is a sitcom, and it does have sitcom tropes, but it has its funnies. So, and this was a holdover until we go off into 5 movie marathons that we have planned.
I think 4, and then the next TV show.
4 in the next TV show. Our 8 months of content that we have planned.
Almost a year worth.
Almost a year worth. But yeah, so this is kind of a nice holdover, and we figured we'd just do the first season of talking through the episodes of Better Off Ted. We may revisit it, we may not, but it's fun. And it's nice for us, at least for me, to have something to keep me accountable for watching something and actually pay attention to it, instead of, I notice when I rewatch a lot of shows, I'll put them on in the background and then I'll walk away, and then I'll be in the kitchen and then I'll hear one funny line from the living room, like, huh, that's right. And then I'm like back to doing what I'm doing.
That kind of happened to me on Monday because I watch all these episodes on my tablet, but I use my tablet to watch chat when I do cooking streams. And so I'm just sitting there, and there was something weird was going on, and I was like, what's... I think it was like with my audio and my mic, and I wasn't sure because I use a lapel mic, and I didn't know if the battery died. Like, let me check, and I unmuted the computer, and then I just hear, I think it was one of the scientists that was talking, and I'm like, what is going on? And I looked, and it played episode 5, 6, 7, and halfway through 8. And I was like, ah!
You forgot to hit and close Hulu when you were done.
Well, sometimes I'll close it and everything, but then when I open up the browser again, it will, because like all I really use on there is Firefox. And so
it just remembers your history, so it's like, all right, let's keep it going, let's keep it rolling, guys.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I'd much rather that happen with Better Off Ted, because I'll know what that is, rather than One Piece, where I'm like, I don't know where I left off.
Too many episodes.
Yeah.
But all right. So then continuation of this, what we usually do is start off by rolling our dice to see who gets to talk about which episode is first. I'll decide our excuse to roll dice in the coming episodes. But I rolled on my digital roller. Which dice are you choosing today?
I just rolled all 3.
Which one?
The thing is, they're all single digits.
Oh, I also rolled a single digit.
Oh,
so
no. Okay, hold on. I will. Well, I'll let you choose. Should I roll the Sky, Galaxy, or Stinky Cheese?
Sky. Because I think you did Galaxy last week, if I remember right.
I rolled the same number. I rolled a 9.
Oh, that beats me. I rolled a 5.
I rolled a 6. I'm like, no, I still win.
All right, so then go ahead and start describing episode 5 for everybody.
I feel like asterisks at the start. I don't think I enjoyed these 2 episodes as much as I enjoyed 3 and 4.
Yeah, these kind of okay, so we'll pause here. So I know you mentioned to me that you're like, this is why I don't like sitcoms. I was like, yeah, I think the problem that comes with a lot of sitcoms that people will forget is they do tend to have a varied cast of not just like actors, but you have writing teams. And I think sometimes they hand off, oh, you get to do these episodes, I'll do these episodes. And then sometimes they also have different directors and things like that. Because I noticed even if you watch things like The Witcher, they actually do have, almost every episode has a different director and a different lead writer. But with The Witcher, they have a very good showrunner that will come in and be like, this is what it has to be for the universe, and we're not deviating too much. Whereas sitcoms, I don't think, do sitcoms have showrunners in the same way? Or do they kind of just have a team that works together to kind of build the script?
I think it might be a team, because like I don't know, I don't know a lot about TV writing. One thing I do know, like, because there was a time when like I wanted to see what the hype behind Supernatural was, and then I got sucked in and watched, I think, like up to like season 6 or 7, to the part and was like, okay, this is just the same thing over and over and over. But I was watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, because like any long running show of that, I like to know, like, okay, well, what did they do? And they, not so much writing, but they got to the point where they had their like their main actors, the guys that played the brothers, like every once in a while they would direct one of the episodes.
Oh, okay.
And so like, and they were just getting like, I guess, like experience of like, and it was more like, I don't know if it's more, it wasn't like one of the main like heavy story required episodes. It was more because, like, for anyone who hasn't watched Twilight, the whole setup is the first like 3 episodes are. Did you
say Twilight?
Did I say Twilight?
Yeah, I heard Twilight.
Oh, I probably did. That's the other problem, because I'm playing a lot of Dark Souls, and all the stuff I need to level up my stuff is Twinkling Titanium. But I keep saying Twinkling Twilight. And I'm like, that's not it.
Sparkly vampires.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole thing going on with that. But in Supernatural, they would
like hand off episodes.
Yeah, hand off episodes. But yeah, half the season is actual story, and then the other half is kind of joke filler that has like a point that helps push the story forward.
Okay, yeah, I know, if I remember correctly, Criminal Minds, I used to watch that a lot with my mom growing up, and I would, after a while, I was paying attention to things, and I do believe they did the same thing there, because I believe, I'm going to butcher his last name, Matthew Gray Gubler. I
don't know his real name, but I like Gubler.
Yeah, some of my favorite episodes are actually like he did a 2 or 3 part episode, and it turned out he was directing for it, and I was like, this doesn't feel like the rest of the show. And then I noticed in the credits that it said that like he had names on the credits.
Yeah, so and it could be different teams and all that stuff, but like the one thing I guess with this show is like with Better Off Ted is like there isn't an overarching story except for like, oh man, are they gonna make out this time? And then like, I don't know, I think it really shows in episode 6. Like,
okay, so here we go. So I pulled up the wiki. So episode 4 has a different director than episodes 1, 2, and 3. And episode 5 has 2 different writers not accredited to any of the first 4 episodes. Then episode 6 is the same director as episode 4, and then different lead writers as well. Mm-hmm. So it could be that the writers are just not really our cup of tea. Let me see if I can send you.
I figured that would be a good thing just to mention at the start, because like every week for the past 2 weeks it was just like, so what you think? And
yeah, like the first 2 episodes are listed to have the same director and writer. Mm-hmm. And then episodes 3 and 5 have the same director. And then there's just a lot of names that start getting mixed in.
Yeah. I'm interested though. Is Michael Gublerman, or however you say his name, I wonder, is he a writer on any other episodes?
Let me scroll through that wiki again.
Because I really did like episode 4. Like, I liked the story of episode 4.
Episode 11.
Okay, so
there's a chance.
When we get to episode 11,
you'll see if you like that one a lot better.
We'll have to see if I like episode 11. Is racial sensitivity also the other one?
That's the one.
I did also like number 3, where that's when Rose comes into the office.
Yes, and that writer is not accredited to any other episodes this season.
So, but
it is also an interesting study into sitcoms, right? That like at first you're like, why is this episode so different? And then I send you the wiki, you're like, I haven't seen this name before. Where'd this name come from?
Yeah.
Because the tone shift is interesting too, just between 3 and 4 individually. And then 5, you can just start describing 5, and then we can start discussing all of our thoughts on it.
All right. I also don't have the wiki up because I forgot to bring it up, so I'm going to see if I can remember everything about it. Mm-hmm. So in short, as normal, we have our 2 storylines. So from the start, we have Ted, who comes in the office, and he and Veronica kind of team up to sell I almost said toilet paper, wrapping paper for Rose, so that way she can go to Disney to make all the other kids cry. And they get super competitive, and they are pretty much like finding out that there's a kid that is constantly like just beating them and beating their numbers to the part where they're like, where Ted and Veronica is like, we got to do this, we're gonna win, and just super competitive. And then Rose is like, everyone at school hates me, and he's like, why? And they like, oh no, they look up who the kid is first.
The girl is, yeah.
And we find out the kid is disabled and is in a wheelchair. To where Ted's like, well, no, we gotta win. Anyway, it's just like,
yeah, he has the moral dilemma where he's like, I taught her to treat everyone equally, but
yes.
You're not supposed. Yeah.
So they do that, and it gets to the point where, which is really interesting. Like, as I was watching it, I was like, it's really interesting that the first gay character of the show we watched in the first week of Pride Month. But yeah, the whole thing is they need to get more money for their plan, and so they yes, but Veronica doesn't want to have the dinner with this general because he really likes Ted, and so like that's the whole thing. And there's back and forth of who can sell the most wrapping paper and all that stuff, and I figure we can go into the specifics of some of that later. Mm-hmm. The second side of it story is I completely forgot her name.
Linda.
Linda. Yes, she. I don't remember why she's in the office, but pretty much, Lem and Phil are playing a game where they throw needles into the ceiling tiles, and not Veronica. Linda comes down and is trying to tell him something, and one of the needles falls down and hits her in the arm. Where they're like, "Oh, don't worry, they're sterile needles. We wouldn't use anything bad." He's like, "Here's a Band-Aid." And then Linda starts acting very strange and is very, I think emotional. That's what it is. And they're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. Well, first she's super happy,
hyperactive,
right?
hyperactive, and then the emotional stuff starts coming in. To where Bill and Lem realized we didn't give her a Band-Aid. We accidentally gave her one of the testing things, and they are trying to stop her before she caused too much chaos, like steal a baby. So there's that side, and yes, and I don't know. I figured we can probably share more in our conversations of the high points of that.
Yep. So, I guess the first question I wrote up is: would you survive in a highly competitive workplace like Viridian?
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm very much. I think part of me. No, I'd say for me, I'm not motivated by competition. Like, even in school, when people would be like, "What grade did you get? What did you do? What did you get?" I'd be like, "I did good for what I wanted." And even when it came to, I was considered athletic as a kid, but when I would do stuff, I would never like push myself to go for first place. I'd always go, I wasn't last. That's all I could ask for. I would do the same
thing. In my head, I was like, I'm going to get more attention if I get first.
Oh my goodness. Same. I'm in therapy. Hey.
I probably should be.
Hey. But yeah, so when I was job searching like 6 months ago, I decided to throw my hat at some of the bigger tech companies just to see, right, and to get the interview experience. And yes, because it existed. And then I made the mistake of like putting in to kind of start works with Amazon, and I've heard that when it comes to the software side of things, they're so competitive in terms. I don't know how true it is, but the rumors I've heard is that depending on the department you get put in, management is very much, did you perform? If you didn't perform, then we're removing you or we're cutting you. Mm-hmm. Very like next big thing oriented. And I've been getting, the recruiters must be under the same kind of pressure, because as soon as like 6 months have passed me doing, I basically failed the quote unquote entry exam because they sprung it up on me, and then I didn't give myself time to prepare because I was work traveling and content creating I wasn't content creating, but I was doing work travel and I was trying to do a bunch of other stuff at the same time.
You were content creating. You're making this.
Yes, I was doing this. But
once a week content creating.
But I basically like flunked their entrance exam, and then 6 months have passed and they're like, "Hey, we see you're still in our database. We can't let you go." Like, I literally got an email like 2 days ago. I know I'm being annoying, but we can't let you go. And I was like, ew, I'm uncomfortable.
In the database, that's foreshadowing for the next episode.
That is a good foreshadow. That would be a good segue, but like everything I've heard early. Yeah, but everything I've heard about them with one of their like, yeah, the benefits can be good, but then it's a highly competitive environment. Whereas the job I did end up myself in, they're very much like, how'd your week go? I got stuck on some code. They're like, oh, do you need help? I'm like, I think I figured it out. They're like, okay, we'll check on you tomorrow. I was like, thanks. And then my manager is pretty hands off, where it's very much just like, if I need something, then he's like on top of it, but otherwise he's very much, he doesn't nag me.
Yeah. Like where I work now, I work with in a family business that I know the person that would probably hurt their feelings would never listen to the podcast, and so I'm actively trying to find a way out of it. Mm-hmm. And so while doing that, it's the fun joy of when you realize the past 10 years you built a certain set of skills that helps in very specific areas that you can't get jobs in. Yeah. So it is now like, okay, how can I make those jobs to make me money somehow, or take these skills and see if I can get something. And I don't know. I might have to go back to school, which I really don't want to do. But
you've been building these skill sets.
Yes, I have. Dude, can you imagine like turning on the radio like WMMR? I don't know if MMR reaches where you're at.
It does. Because I'm Philadelphia region.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't know how far it reached out.
Okay.
But turn on MMR and it's just like, hey, it's me, Itisdpayne. What's up?
Oh my god, what wacky games would you come up with for morning shows? Would you do the prank calls? Would you do the so and so left me for a date?
Let's be honest. I am not getting put on a day show. I can't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No, you just stay up.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you sleep as soon as it's over.
Yeah. That'd be. I thought doing radio would be really fun. I think it'd be fun to do a political talk show just to make fun of everybody.
The completely neutral one. You just read different sides of arguments and go, wait, this is what?
I was telling my brother, I'm like, you know what? I hate listening to the news because it is always like just filled with that person's perspective, which
there's a lot of bias that
that was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bias. I'm like, what I would really want is just like, that was the one thing I kept, like, everyone was like talking about Johnny and all, that's the Johnny Heard case, and I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, I'm glad rich people are mad at each other, but is the stuff with Ukraine still happening?
The news coverage is very in the US is all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's there's a lot of
hot.
And there's a lot of important stuff that needs to get talked about that kind of gets pushed around for things that are easy, what I would consider easier to digest and think about. Even though the stuff that happened in the Amber Heard case and what they talked about, I can't fathom ever like any of the actions on both sides, and I'm like, these are real people that think this way.
And it's like, in the end, they're both terrible people. And as I told my one brother, and it was like, to be fair, Depp already won, even if he lost, because his whole thing,
social standing.
Yeah, it's like he now has work, like if he needed it. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. You can go watch YouTube and for the past month.
Get caught up on everything. Yeah. All of mine. So it's like how I said I get celebrity news. It's all against my will. Like, I go on TikTok and they're like, "Did you hear MGK?" Oh, please stop. I don't want to hear about them anymore.
So I don't know who that is, but my brain immediately thought of Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, goodness, no. MGK is Machine Gun Kelly.
Isn't he married to Transformer Girl? With little thumbs?
Toe thumbs, yeah.
But anyway, I was like, you know what? It'd be really cool if there was a podcast or something like that was, or like a show that was just like, here's the news, we're not here to get the biased, or just been like, hey, here's the news story, here's how the left looks at it, here's the right looks at it, we're moving forward. And it's just like, and that was it. I was like, I don't want an echo chamber of people on the side to tell me what they think for 3 hours.
Yeah, so there's a commentary YouTuber I watched, and he had a video where he was kind of like poking fun at, he found trading cards, and he said he's collected trading cards as a kid, and he was in a store and he saw some really weird ones, like he saw Justin Bieber trading cards. He was like, this video is a mission for me to find the weirdest trading cards I could possibly find. But he had titled the video like, I found Republican trading cards. And then the ad in front of his video, like, I know, like, from the way he talks and his humor, you can tell his affiliation isn't necessarily all the way there. But on the video, because I think I had the title Republican on the YouTube video, they put in an ad, and I was like, I don't like this guy. And Strider was like, oh, because this is a guy who has a show with another, like, publicly loud Republican who kind of has the views that are inflammatory for the sake of being inflammatory and not because like it feels like real views. I was like, oh, okay, that's a shame his ad was on this, because we know the YouTuber is not about these people. Because like he found trading cards for Desert Storm, and they were like looking at the pictures, and one of the cards was like carpet bombing, and the girl he was doing the video with was like, oh my god, who did this? Who wants to collect this?
Now I want to see them. Can I get the link to that video?
Yeah. The structure of it was fine. I think it could have been done better, but it was just one of those like, interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, to answer your original question.
Competitive workplace, not for us.
Yes, not for us. it's like it's one of those things where like I now know where my motivation comes from, and as I tell a lot of people online, Hop gets the brunt of this because it's creative fulfillment in projects, and well, Hop I talk to every week, and so she normally gets the like word vomit of thing here, maybe we'll see.
Yeah. And, what you guys don't see behind the scenes, maybe that could be a Patreon thing. We have our behind the scenes of what we talk about before we even record. It's usually at minimum 2 hours of conversation.
Yeah, we were like, okay, yeah, it's 3:30 now. We were like, okay, yeah, we'll start recording at 1 and we'll all be good. And it's like, no, but yeah, like the way my at work that they would try to motivate me, with the like both my dad and my uncle, they both come up to me and they're like, if you take over the company, you can make a lot of money. It's going to be a lot of work, but you can make a lot of money. And in my head, I was like, that means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make enough money to survive, but I'm just like, I don't want to sell my life to make a whole bunch of money that I can't do anything with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then what was it for my old job? It felt like to me they wanted me to be happy with knowing I did something, like with the sense of accomplishment. But you're talking to a person, one, with imposter syndrome, and then two, it just came down to like, unfortunately, in my side of business, when it comes to money, that kind of directly correlates to, are you appreciated in the job kind of thing. So where I was working was below the standard based on the years I did and the schooling I had, that I was like, let me look for somewhere else. And when I told my old company, I was like, this is the raise I would get if I took this. And they're like, we can't match that, but we can give you like a third of that. And I'm like, so you guys don't really care about me, do you, if you're not even willing to try? And it's not even like they were like, how about in exchange for money, we'll do this for you. They just went, this is all we can do. And I'm like, peace. I leave.
Oh, man. Was it just... It might have been a TikTok I was watching where someone... Oh, it was something like of asking... Because, like, this week I felt like TikTok just started adding ads. But like I've been getting like a lot of like business stuff related to that, and one of them was like pretty much like drawing boundaries in a corporation. It's like, hey, can you stay late for this job? And they're like, it's like, I can stay an extra 15 minutes, but that's all I can do. Is like, oh, we're really short staffed, and can you do that for the rest of the week? It's like, no, this is like just extra, not the expectation for the failings of a company that doesn't want to hire staff. It was something on the lines of that.
Yeah, that's like too cheap to want to like... They know the gap, and they're like, we'll just use people until they get burnt out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I remember when, because like everyone that works at my shop, well, not my shop, but the shop I work at, some of them come in at like 5:30 in the morning and stay out till 3:30. And I was like, that doesn't sound fun.
That's a 10-hour day?
I think so. And then they'll like get on my case because like I'm 5 minutes late on a good day. And so they'll like, I'm just like, okay, all my work's done. And it's like, okay, what do you want me to do? Like, there's literally nothing for me to do right now. And it's like, yeah, it's like the extra money would be nice, but I'm just like, I'm not going to come in for 3 extra hours to do nothing. But also, it's like, I have a second job, and then I have something streaming and other projects that I have way more value in. And it's just like,
for your personal fulfillment.
Yeah. And they're like, that, like them being 50s and older doesn't comprehend.
Work is life. Yeah, life is work.
Life sucks. That's why probably the suicide rate is high for some boomer ages. But moving forward.
Fun stats. Okay, so I thought we rambled plenty earlier. We have so much rambling left in us. So then,
yeah, I know. This is really rebuilding my confidence for the next set of episodes when we go to one.
All right. So then, between Ted and Veronica, which do you think is Batman and which do you think is Robin? And as a precursor, this is when they're selling a ton of wrapping paper, but they're doing it together, and they're doing the kind of like shtick of, "Hey, you could get it for this deal," and then Ted's like, "No, you can't sell it for that cheap," and the person's like, "No, Veronica already promised me a cheap price. Give me."
Yeah. So. No, I definitely see Veronica as Batman. Like, I'm
do you
trying
think
to
she's Batman and Robin? Like she tries to say, I'm Batman and Robin.
I don't think. Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
I think in perspective, I think if it's only the two of them, I think Veronica is Batman and Ted is Robin. But I think if Ted's in the lab, Ted is Batman. And everybody else is Robin.
Everyone else is Commissioner Gordon. But like, that's the other thing where it's just like, I also see it as like Veronica and Ted are Batman and Robin, and Veronica's also Joker.
She is very chaotic.
She's like so lawful chaotic.
Which will be another nice segue into the next episode. Okay. So that was, like I said, my questions are a little bit more unhinged. This is my most unhinged question. I think it's because I watched this episode pretty late at night, but I thought this would be funny to talk about with you. So I'll say that throughout the episode is a lot of, with the usual things when Rose is involved, there's a lot of moral back and forth. Because Rose ends up asking to lose the wrapping paper competition because like you said, the kids at school are starting to bully her. Like, wow, you can't even let the girl in the wheelchair go to Disney, because they don't describe to us like what their places in life are. We can assume that in theory Rose should be able to afford to go to Disney because Ted is a pretty high position in the job, at least high enough that they reference it in the next episode regarding like he's expensive to have hired, air quotes. And
well, I also feel like maybe he, with just the work, like, he doesn't seem like a person that can get off work.
That's true. Vacation might be tough for him. So maybe this is a forced excuse. Like, she won a trip to Disney. I have to take off work to go with her. But yeah, so then Rose is the moral compass. Like, I know you say to treat everyone equally, but we also have to recognize she should have a chance to go to Disney because she might not have a chance. And all the kids are bullying me. So can we just lose already? Stop being competitive like you always are, Dad. And he's like, I'm not competitive. She's like, you're being competitive about being competitive. And he does a horrible analogy of, was it like, just imagine Mickey Mouse with your ears or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, because he's just like, yeah, she's going down and wear Mickey Mouse, and we're gonna make Mickey Mouse wear Mickey Mouse's ears or something. It was something like
no, because usually when you go to Disney, you buy Mickey Mouse ears to wear as a headband. But I think he says Mickey Mouse would be wearing your ears.
Yeah,
and
that's what it was.
And she just stares at him like,
too
no.
far.
Yeah, and he's like, oops. And he tries to fix the analogy, and it gets worse. And then she's like, can you leave the lights on?
Yes.
He's like, is it the ears thing? She said a little bit.
Yes.
So then my question I prompt to you is, if Mickey had human ears, do you think they'd be on the side of his head like human heads, or on the top of his head like his mouse ears are?
And how they're always, you can always see the round part no matter which way his face is turned? Yes.
That one where they're on top of his
I like to think that Mickey's magic is based in ear placement, and that's how his ears will always be.
No matter what type of ears. So would the ears be human sized or translate into the mascot Mickey Mouse size?
Oh, I was picturing Mickey's actual ears are now just human shaped.
It's so scary. So is the, like, you know how like an ear has like this shape? Is this part? I'm trying to describe it. It's easier in video for me to describe, but the part that attaches to your head. So is it angled in a way?
Yes, it's like that. Then just always turning. Oh man, we made a nightmare creature. This is how creepypasta starts.
This is how creepypasta starts. But yeah. But overall, episode 5, I would say out of the first 5 episodes, is I personally think the weakest.
I have some things written down of just funny just funny throwaway lines that I'll just read through real quick. That's all my notes are. I'm no longer taking not questionable, but like thought-provoking stuff. One, just to make sure we're good with time, but then also I know Hop's already doing that, so I'm like, I'm just gonna find funny lines. Like, oh, I can see your lady shoulder. When they go to put the Band-Aid on Linda.
Yeah, Lem freaks out.
He's like, never say lady shoulder again.
Oh, and we didn't really talk about Linda in my questions. So I guess, what do you think was Linda's biggest mistake while she was under the influence of the energy patch that they accidentally gave her?
I'm trying to remember.
She did a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't get fired for calling Veronica pee-pee hands.
Yeah. But she played it right by complimenting her first. She complimented her calves, and that's all she remembered.
Well, she was being very generous.
Yes.
She was being a very human character when at the end of the episode, Linda's apologizing to her, and Veronica goes, I only remember that you complimented me and you think about me all the time. And Linda's like, how did she win again? She's always winning.
That was good. I know she has an interaction with Ted.
Oh, when she does that, oh, I'm Ted. I'm a manager.
Yes.
I'm manager of everybody.
That was a good one.
And then she does it for herself.
No.
Hi, I'm Linda. I'm crazy.
I remember what it was. It was her going in and just like, I can't stand that noise. What noise? That's a baby crying. That's what they do. I'm going to give her a piece of my mind. And then then Lem and Phil are just like, yeah, should we do that? Something, just talking back and forth. And then she breaks through the door again and it's just like, or comes back in, he's like, I got a baby. And
they're like, this is exactly what Ted wanted us to prevent.
Which, there's something that's a little bit strange, which is what I made a note of. And I don't know if you caught it, but Linda's door in her apartment complex has a giant glass pane staring right into it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Because at the like before it fades to black, like it shows the mom of the baby she stole, like face in the window, like, give me back my child. And
I'll
it's
have
just
to go back and look at it again.
And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, that is the creepiest apartment door.
No one should have that.
It's like you just look into her living room.
Yeah, I did like the scene though where she comes in and she's like, hey Linda, what's going on? She's like, this isn't between me and you, this is between me and the baby. And she goes, this 1-year-old? Yeah, I've got a problem with the baby. Give me the baby. And she's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then doesn't she say she writes Ted on the onesie? She's like, his name's Ted. Her name's Ted.
Ted too.
And then I like when she like sobers up from the interaction and goes, just because you write your name on something doesn't mean it belongs to you.
Yeah. Let's see. There was the little Viridian promo where they're like, I don't remember the whole thing, but it's just like, I think, it was competition. It's like, yeah, how every competitive drives us and everything. And they say the elderly and a baby fighting to the death, and hurricane-proof dogs.
I was gonna ask how much you would pay to watch a baby and a grandmother fight to the death. Yeah, I figured you'd pay a pretty good amount for those tickets.
I would peruse the price.
You'd be like, is this within budget?
It's like, it'd be interesting. Like,
what would be the most you'd be willing to pay to watch that?
Oh no, that's the problem. I don't have enough money. I don't have a lot of spare money. There we go. That's what I would say.
That's how you want to phrase that. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
but
it's true.
If it was a publicized fight, you'd be like,
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be a fun thing to go look, because it's like both of them are on a timer.
One of them's gonna give up to their basic human urges and need their diaper changed. Well,
both.
That could be both.
Or like, depending on how old that elderly person is, like, they could be really, really old and not make it over to the baby, but at the same time, the baby needs general care. Like, how old is baby? Like, if baby, never mind.
Yeah, how young is old lady and how old is baby?
Yeah, like, because if it's a 1-month-year-old,
they can't even lift their head.
Yeah, they look like a potato.
They just be swaddled in the corner of the ring.
To be fair, some old people look like a potato.
Just a sadder potato.
Yeah, it's like, look at these raisins in this field. But it's like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, you know what? To the death might be a little bit long, but to be honest, like, it might be to the nap.
Whoever falls over for... Oh, well, the baby's already fallen over. Unless the baby can crawl. If the baby can crawl, then whoever falls over first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was all my notes for that episode. But yeah, it would be interesting. I don't know if I would want to put a money thing to it. I don't know if I want that on my...
On your conscience?
Not conscious, like, but public record that people can pull up when I decide to, like, I don't know, run for president of the world or something.
He'd be willing to pay to watch old people and babies fight to the death. Do you want that in your leader?
It's a sad thing that probably would go over really well with our age group.
They'd be like, that'd be more exciting than all these fake boxing matches.
Yeah, it's like, no, guys, that's how we're going to fight wars. We're going to take our oldest old person and our youngest young child and face off against the other oldest old person and their youngest young child. And whichever one overcomes, it'll be a tag team event.
Yeah, this is reinventing chess, but making it more exciting, huh? Yeah. Instead of us fighting actual wars, this is how we settle arguments now.
Well, that's the whole point of, I think, what is it? No, yeah, I think Pacific Rim 2, that's like the whole point is like, we're not going to have wars, we're going to have our Jaegers fight.
Oh, I didn't watch the Pacific Rims. I know people said that they are fun.
They're fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that I think works better in a group.
Where you can talk about it and enjoy it.
Have the live reactions. And because there's just like, I watched it in theaters, I think, twice. So.
That does feel like a movie you should watch in theaters with sound design and all the stuff. But okay, we talked a lot. Whoa, episode 6 now.
Friends.
So then we flip over to episode 6, like you said, with a segue and the databases. So this episode focuses on the fact that Ted has somehow disappeared from the whole database. And in disappearing, he tries to go through all these different loopholes to find a way to get his badge back so he can actually work. And because he's not working, then everything else falls apart around him. Linda is the only one that can access the lab. And at first, Ted's like, hey, Veronica, can you handle the people in the lab? So she passes it to Linda. And both Linda and Veronica are like, I hate going down there. I think Veronica says it smells like science. Yeah, I think so. And Linda is like, her line that she says that makes me laugh is full frontal nerdity. So both of them are very bad at interacting with the scientists. And Ted, in his, I think at first he's like, oh, I'm just going to go tell them that my name is wrong. And then the lady in HR deletes it. And then he's like, all right, so I guess I'm missing a code. So to get this code, I'll try to reapply for my job. And while he's reapplying for the job, Linda comes back and is like, how do you talk to them? He said, tone is important. They're basically animals. Also, I always have caramels with me in my pocket to give to them as little treats. So then they go through all that, and eventually they come up with a heist plan where Linda brings everyone together. They come up with a heist plan to try and do what they believe is the only solution, which is kind of crash the mainframe, which will force reboot it to force it into an earlier state that should have Ted in the system. And in doing all this, they find out that by Ted reapplying for his job, it messes up and accidentally opens the position up for other people to apply, so he has to go through the formal process again. But then in the end, Veronica saves the day by finding a different way to outsmart the system and circumventing her own bosses. Anything else you want to
add? That's pretty much the gist. This is like an episode that doesn't have two sides. Like
it's a very one-sided like plot line that everyone kind of gets dragged into. All right, so then I'll jump in. What type of leader would you say you are? Veronica, Ted, or Linda?
Oh.
Because leadership is a big part of this episode as well.
Yeah. Like, so I guess like breaking it down, like, so Linda's leadership is like,
she'd rather be friends with everybody and try and like get everyone to work together.
Yeah, and just to hit the common goal, and like doesn't want to really rock the boat. Ted is a lot more just understands
people
and like people to the part where it's just like how you have to interact with other people, and Veronica just like, I'm gonna tell you what to do, but then is like also like kind of just also know like it's weird, like she delegates a lot of stuff, but at the same time she is very active in like getting a lot of the behind the scenes things completed as well. Like like I don't know, even just thinking of like when they asked to sell, I keep want to say toilet paper,
The wrapping paper,
like she was like all in on that no matter who it was. And there's like I think like throughout the most of these episodes, it's just like a lot of the stuff is like Veronica is very much like says one thing and then it's just like has her kind of own goals that she kind of works towards.
Yeah, she keeps her morals very close to her heart, which I think is interesting as a character. Ted's morals are like his are wavering, but whatever he's thinking at the moment, he just tells everybody. And then Linda's morals are pretty selfish, I guess, in not so selfish that she doesn't like people, but selfish in terms of she doesn't want to.
It's for her greater good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not Phil. I saw Phil's name written on the screen. Ted is very much like it's very much like who was the last person talking to him. Was it Rose, Linda, or Veronica?
Because he is very good at listening to what other people have to say. He's very bad at filtering it into his own opinion until the very end of the episode where he's like, wait, I said 6 different things. What do I actually want?
But he is really good, like as everyone has mentioned multiple times, at leading that group where it's just like, as he says, you got to have a firm tone and caramels. And
you need to just make a decision and just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, and I feel like a lot of these episodes are just his thought process, pretty much, of like how he gets to there. Yeah. So it doesn't really say how long some of these episodes are. Like, I feel like most of these episodes, like, I guess in real world time, is like a day at the office.
Yeah, this one feels like at least a few. Yeah. He goes through a couple different, like, wardrobe changes and, like, they meet up after work hours and all that.
Yeah. I don't really know. Like, I have a hard time thinking of myself. I don't know. You worked with me. What do you think?
I think you're a mix between Veronica and Ted, where you know what you want and you know that no matter what's going to happen, you'll find a way to get there, like Veronica. But that you're like Ted and you're like, I understand that I can't push in these directions. Like some people you're like, I can say this and they'll get, they'll jump on it and we can do it together. But other people you're like, I'll poke and hang the bait. If they don't take the bait, they don't take the bait. So then, since you made me answer for you, who do you think I'm like? Because we've both organized things.
You just yell at me off camera. No.
Do this, do that. Why would you do that?
She calls me names. Oh no, this was the reverse card. Now I got to think more. I don't think you're. Like, I don't see you as a Veronica leadership. Like, I see, I guess, like, kind of, I guess, I don't know, I feel bad saying this because we just said Linda's very selfish, but, like, I think you feel a little bit more comfortable if everyone is willing to work together. But at the same time, with Ted, you also, like, the whole, like, you are savvy of knowing, like, how you need to communicate with different people, even if at first you don't want to. So,
no, thank you.
But, it's like I think it's probably maybe the other side of it where it's just like I think once you catch the vision and everything and all that and you're like, okay, well, let's bring everyone or like as many people, the team together to work on it and just like knowing how to communicate with those people. Because like normally the people I see you working with a lot are the people that are closer to you. Like,
yes, it is. I am definitely much more comfortable. Like, I know there are some people in content creation that they'll just kind of spread their influence as far as they can, which is good, right? Because then that exposes you to more people. But then I always get the anxiety of like, did I say the right thing? Did we get it wrong? Is everything okay? But no, okay. I see that. That's fine. So then...
That's fine. That means you disagree. Who do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as Veronica?
Not at all. Not even 1 ounce of her. Maybe like how sometimes she's outsmarted people. Like how she secretly is helping people, but doesn't want to tell people she's helping people because she knows that means people will like expect it out of her. Sometimes I'm that person. But
you're not the
cold calculator.
I understand where you come from. I too at 5'6" or whatever it was.
I'm 5'11" and attractive. I've also been discriminated.
Yes.
That's not the same thing.
By the army of guys.
I only sought comfort in modeling contracts and college-aged boys.
Yep.
All right. So then, like we mentioned, to get Ted back into the swing of things, they decide to they make up a heist. What did you think of their heist?
I thought it was like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it was very like by the book. They were like, you distract him with your feminine wiles and I'll go here and steal this and we'll distract the cameras.
Yeah, it was. Oh wait, I have it right here on the wiki. Mm-hmm. It says Phase 1, Dr. Bahamba poses as a janitor to disable the security cameras, which is just pushing them with his broom. And then Paula, she tapes off the doorway so that Lemon Phil can bring the computer virus. Wait, she only tapes off the one elevator, and it's like, that doesn't even make sense, the elevator that they tape off. It's the elevator they have to go through. Anyway.
Yeah. Dramatic effect.
Yeah, but so anyway, she just tapes off a wall. 3, Linda, yeah, as you said, uses her feminine wiles to distract the guards so Ted can steal the security badge and sneak in. Yeah, and then they're just like step 4 and then step 5 profit. But yeah, they all do that. It's part of me just wonders, like, it probably would have been easier to let them know. Well, no, they said no one could get into there, right? Yeah, only certain people get into the mainframe stuff.
Yeah, they had it was badge access, so like clearances and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just thought it was funny that they're like, okay, Linda, use your feminine wiles, and it's just like,
she's so awkward.
Yeah, just like, I'm trying to remember, does it even say what she says? It's just like, no, just like, my boobs, and he's like, look at them. Oh.
Yeah, because no, what she says, I'm on a new medication and they're just so perky and big right now. And he's like, yeah, I see them top shelf. Go for you. She's like, you can't see from over there, silly. Come over here. And he's like, okay. Yeah. And then and then she's like,
sorry, go ahead.
I was like, and then she has to come up with a story to distract him. So she starts talking about like when she was in a sorority and all that stuff.
Isn't it earlier where they're talking to the security guard and he's like, yep, my 400-pound wife.
And he was so mean. He was like, I told her knees couldn't support 400 pounds. And I was like, he what? You said that?
It's like, what is going on here? So yeah, they did all that. But yeah,
I wasn't surprised that it failed.
Oh yeah, like I was expecting it to fail.
I just didn't expect them to say, we track your every movement.
Yeah, well, but like that also makes sense and tracks with everything that they've been sharing about. I like how this all is about because the team can't work together to get a jetpack to work.
All because Ted is the glue and everybody else is falling apart. Did you have any notes about the little tidbits throughout the show? Because the last one is kind of pretty much a wrap up.
Yes. So there's a line where house is made of rules, and those rules are my kids, and this kid is, and that pretty much implies, wait, the house is made of his kids? And
she's like, I can't comment on your conscience or whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if they have a line here, but yeah, it was pretty much like a house is made of rules, and rules are my kids, and it's just like, it was so weird. So there was that. the whole line with Veronica, just like when trying to like console Ted, of just saying like, just like when Ted's like, why can't they just do this? And it's just like, I remember when I was when I found out that corporations or companies don't care about the people.
I was 8. And Ted's like, fuck, I don't remember.
Yeah, she just totally skips over that line. And then the line where it's just like the final straw before he leaves, and everyone's like, wait, no, is just like, look, because that's when they find out. No, that's when the guy from marketing gets his office.
He's got boxes of Ted Crisps.
Ted Crisps, yeah. And oh no, Chips.
Oh, Chips, and his last name is Crisps.
Yeah, his last name is Crisps. And Veronica's like, look, until we get this figured out, we'll have a laptop in the handicap bathroom. And the handicap stall, that's what it was.
And she's like, you have your own bathroom?
Yeah, you have your own bathroom. And he just walks out, and she's like, she has that face just like, I don't understand why he left.
I like when she forces him to do the formal interview, and she's like, all right, Ted, Margaret, Crisp. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's Margereau, it's a family name, it means this. And she's like, what is it? Oh, as your family would say, let's keep up this charade instead of charade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's when he really gets fed up.
Fed up.
Yeah, not felled up. Fed up with just all of it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And then from the little Viridian commercials they sneak in, I did like the line about individuality. Like, yeah, we're all individuals. We recognize that if you put one of you in front of the other, you'll all follow in a line. Like, you don't know anything else. You have to use Viridian to spell individual, and a U,
yeah.
and an L.
Whoever made those little not jingles, but those little commercials did a very good job.
They're all very funny, and I do like how they are themed around the episode, and now that they're not right in the beginning, then you get kind of context of the episode, and then the joke, and then the rest of the context of the episode.
Yeah, it's very much like the corporate like HR response to the issue that is plaguing the company.
Yeah, the one from episode 4 is still really funny. It's like, we see you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then my last question is, I'll read out the paragraph to you from the wiki. I don't like the way the person wrote this wiki final part regarding how Veronica solves the problem with the corporation, where she learns that the higher up bosses wanted her to just replace Ted with someone straight out of business school because it'd be cheaper. She's like, no, Ted's good at his job, and you can't have this all work without Ted. And they're like, we don't need him. You can just get rid of him, replace him. So when she hears about having to overwhelm the computer, she collects as many badges as she can and then puts them on Lem. So when he has his jetpack up into space, the computer's like, everyone can't be in space. It's not possible. But then the end of the paragraph for the wiki says, quote, turns out that Veronica's boss wanted to replace Ted with a much cheaper candidate right out of business school, but Veronica wasn't going to let that happen. And when she wants something, she usually gets it. So she actually did something nice for Ted, ? We can't believe it. Maybe she does have a heart in there somewhere. And I was like, that's a little harsh, because each episode, I think after episode 2, she's done something nice.
Yeah. Like, her reasoning might not be
completely selfless.
Yeah. So, like, hold on, let me just look at the overview of every episode. Yeah, like in the third one, episode 3 is when she tries to get Rose to fire everybody. So maybe not that one
maybe everything after episode 4.
Yeah.
Well, episode 2, she does the thing where she tells Ted to think twice about what he's doing, right?
I think...
No, that was episode 4.
That's episode 4. Yeah, it is episode... Yeah, because that's a racial sensitivity one, where she's just like, no, that's not good. And then, win some dose some, which is the
episode 5. She gives Linda the pass.
Yeah, and then this one, but like I think just with this episode of just seeing, like, because this whole episode, like, she's not actively like telling Ted, like as she tells other people, like just get back to work and do your thing. She's like constantly telling us like I'm trying, like in her way of saying
I'm
like,
looking for ways.
I'm looking for ways. We're trying to do it, and then every little step that like he does, she's just like, no, you just made this a million times harder now, and just like, but it's just how her brain is wired and how she communicates. It's just like it. Not everything is coming clearly through, even though to her she's like, I'm doing everything I can, and so yeah, it's I don't know, throughout this whole episode, like, and like even when they're like we need to make sure this thing works, because like in a way she's doing what Ted does throughout the whole series that we see so far, where Veronica is just like, the company wants to get rid of these people or this person or whoever, and Ted's like, no, we need this person, and then has to work together to find out like how we can make it work, and she's very much doing that, except that one requires a shorting of a whole server around the world.
Yeah, because she's trying to balance doing what Ted would try and do and stick up for people, but she also has to be like, the only solution that we have is very like butts, and we have to find a way around it, and he's not, and Ted's the one being very impatient this episode, where he's just like, I'm gonna keep pushing, I'm gonna be pushing,
rightfully so. I guess.
Yeah, because it is his livelihood, right? He's worked so hard for this, and because they mentioned in the beginning, like, he finally got promoted to that position after being there.
Yeah.
And he's very, he is job oriented.
But yeah, I guess the other thing with just like with Veronica is just like so far the perspective of the show has been Ted's perspective and like his team. We get snippets of what it's like with Veronica's side of it, and it's just like, I think it's very easy to write off Veronica, like as this last paragraph says, of just like, oh, she's cold and just like whatever she wants she's gonna get, doesn't care who's in the way. And it's like, no, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think there's
layers.
Yeah. Yeah, like, but it's just like, she knows what makes a good team. It's just she wasn't hired to communicate well.
Yeah, she's hired because she's business smart.
Yeah.
But she can even recognize that the people under her are why the business is working. Even if the people up top are like, no, just hire some kid out of business school, it'll be cheap. And she's like, it's not about cheap, it's about quality. It was funny though when she approaches Lem and she's like, here, have a parachute. He's like, a parachute won't save me at that height. And she's like, legal doesn't think so. And he's like, am I gonna die?
And then he just
so I was like, oh, he's hardly hovering, it's not so. And then he just launches. I was like, whoa.
Yep. And everyone's like, yay.
Yeah. All right. So that's all I had for episode 6. Because like you said, it is basically one storyline, so it's a little bit easier to kind of just talk through it. Do you have anything else you want to mention?
No, we kind of did all the things.
Yeah, we can get into deep rants when we get into single episodes.
Which is next week.
Whoa.
And then begins are we halfway through the thing?
Through season 1? Yeah, I think season 1 only
13.
has... Yeah.
So after next week, we'll kind of be past the halfway, or kind of at the halfway point. In the middle...
See the wiki. Yep, 13 exactly.
Yep. And then it's the countdown to... Actually, I probably should already start the countdown of where am I going to find some of these things for the next place.
That's true. We should start sending each other things so we can start pinning them for the first set of movies we plan on watching.
Yes. Spoilers, guys. Movies. And then if you guys were paying attention when I said it earlier, there's more movies.
Yeah. The first 2 movie sets are at least similar universe.
They are connected.
They are connected. I wasn't going to say same universe because there is some like... they made it work.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think that's in comics. I think they are same universe.
Okay. I couldn't tell with the movies or if the movies were just kind of like, we have the same corporations. Spoilers.
To be fair, Judge Dredd and Terminator are connected.
I didn't watch the new Dredd movie that they did.
This is just pure comics.
Oh, okay.
There's a storyline that they do which brings the end of the Terminator story and Judge Dredd together, and like from what I've heard their reactions is that storyline brings a very good closure to the whole Terminator story.
Okay.
But then it's also got Judge Dredd in there, which a lot of people like Judge Dredd.
Okay. So I am sufficiently hungry. So I think this is a good place to stop the podcast today.
Yeah, look at that. And you have an hour and some. So.
Well, I probably don't have to leave my house for another 2 hours, but to be safe, I like to.
She lied to me. She is a Veronica.
It's like when the people are know that I'm consistently late, and they're like, "Yeah, show up at this time," and I show up a half hour late, and I'm like, "Nice, everybody's here."
That's the thing. Like whenever I get invited, it's like I want to be there within the after 30 minutes of the start time, because my brain.
You don't want to be the only person there.
Yeah, my brain freaks out when it's just I see everyone coming in, and I'm like, yeah, it's like
scary.
I don't know why. It's just like I'd rather have everyone be there where they're already distracted, and then I can come in and then
just
leave.
Weave into the crowd. Yes. Anyway, before we self-diagnose some more, we appreciate you guys for listening this far. We would doubly appreciate if you leave any kinds of ratings or reviews on your preferred listening platform, if you are able to. We will shout you out if you do so. It's just a matter of us being able to find it. If you don't think we've rightfully shouted you out, then we would triple appreciate if you interacted with us on Twitter at twitter.com/pointlessdisco. Our DM should be open, so you can be like, hey, I promised that I sent you something. Why my name no in podcast episode? And we will be sure to fix that. And then quadruple appreciate if you share us with frenemy, family, family?
Famine?
Enemy family? Romeo and Juliet?
Deademies?
Deademies? Spoilers.
Oh no.
But yeah. Anything else you need to add, Dpayne?
Not that I can think of.
You gonna say it? You gonna say it? You gonna do the thing?
I guess. Bye-bye!